Let's knit a thing. Oh, hi. Once you go sheep, you never go cheap. This is Soxcetera, my knitting podcast, episode 14. I'm Shannon, and you can find me on Ravelry as shannonfisher and Instagram as shannonmariah. This podcast also has a Rav group under the name Soxcetera, which you can find by searching Soxcetera. And in the Rav group, you can ask me anything, find show notes, join our latest KAL, find links to some of my essays with titles like, I won't teach my daughter it's wrong to flash her boobs, When your mom leaves you on the side of the highway with a bleeding pig, Why you shouldn't chat while you pee, and I hope you like ketchup on your cereal. So check it out. I did start a thread a couple episodes back where I linked to some of my writing, and those were the titles of some of the essays that I shared. So hi and welcome back if you are returning, and welcome if you're new. We have a KAL happening right now in the Soxcetera group called the Blanket Blitz KAL. And that is for anyone who is making a mitered square blanket, a crochet blanket, or if you're into knitting mini hats, toques, mitts, sweaters, anything mini, because those little squares are pretty mini too. So the idea is that it started last week and it's going to run until May 31st. And the idea is, I had the number 40 in my head, add 40 squares to your blanket, make 40 minis, make 10 minis and 30 squares. But I think I've decided, since people are kind of stressed out, so many KALs happening, so much to do, that I want to make this as accessible and as fun as possible. So I say it's just a time to set aside and make as many squares, add as many squares to your blanket, or make as many minis as brings you joy. If that number is 40, then great. If it's 30, perfect. If it's 2, amazing. I think I am not going to start an FO thread. I'm just going to have a chatter thread in the Rav group, which has already started, and people have started to share where they're at now. And then people have also started to share a little bit on Instagram with the hashtag Blanket Blitz KAL. So I'm going to draw from both the chatter thread and the Instagram hashtag thread. So make sure you are posting in both of those places, because we have some amazing prizes already. Where are they? They're here somewhere. There they are. Okay, so first of all, Connie of Chili Knits sent me this. Someone is gonna win this, which is, you guys, like, it's practically like sending light to my face. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful that I considered winding off 5 grams of it for myself before sending it out to the prize winner. I didn't though, okay? But maybe the prize winner will knit a thing with it and then send me 5 grams of it. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just have to buy my own skein of it, which is very, very likely. So thank you, Connie, so much for that. It's so exciting. You guys, this yarn is so squishy. It's called Lemon Lime, and it's in her strong sock base. and it's a 75-25 merino nylon blend. You've got 100 grams at 463 yards. She sent it along with this beautiful bag for me, which is so fun because it matches. But my daughter co-opted it immediately upon seeing it. And it was very difficult to say, no, you can't have it, because I had all of my, I think I've got 4 project bags now, 5. And they were all lined up on my desk with projects in them. And Emma was like, I'd really want that, Mom. And I was about to say, you can't have it. And then I looked at all my project bags and I was like, fine, I can share. So this is Emma's now, which I'm happy to share with her because she will make good use of it. She's a little artist, so she'll keep all of her art supplies in here, which is a perfect use. It's a nice boxy bag. Ooh, but I might steal this stitch marker off before I give it to her. It's a cute little progress keeper. But yeah, it's got this great handle on it. So I will link Connie's information in the show notes where you can purchase her bags and get her yarn. And then the other prize that we have already is from Nikki of Nikki Slip on Etsy and Instagram and Ravelry. And she sent along a pack of minis. So you've got some beautiful colors in there. And then you will also get a pack of her lavender sachets. You guys, these are the greatest things ever. I love them. And then she also sends these fun little packs, which you're not going to be able to see, but they've got candies in them, which I had one of these Milkita candy. I can't see it, there's too much of a glare. But oh man, it was good. I need more of those in my life. And then I think this is stuff from Seoul, Korea, because she used to live there. So it's got some instant coffee with Korean writing on it, and some recipe cards and stickers and pom-poms and cute little eraser magnet. So you'll get that little pack, and her minis, and her sachets, and Connie's yarn. And I'm hoping to collect some more prizes. You will also be getting some minis from me. And if anyone out there is listening who's a maker, who's a yarn dyer, who has a prize that would be perfect for a blanket KAL or a mini knits KAL, then giving to this KAL would bring you joy. I only ever want people to give if it brings them joy. I want it to evoke joy in you. And if it does anything short of that, then totally cool. Because I'm sure that makers get asked all the time to donate to stuff, and I get it's a lot. You need to make money from your stuff. So that's why I always frame it in, if it brings you joy, please participate. If not, that's cool. I totally respect that. In other blanket Blitz news, if you're thinking of starting a blanket, Cozy Memories blanket, now's a good time. A sock yarn blanket, whatever you want to call it. I shared some patterns in the Rav group. I even found a crochet pattern. It's for Tunisian crochet, and it's beautiful. It's called the Bandwagon Blanket. So if you wanted to head to the Rav group and check that out, the maker or the pattern designer for that, I guess she got ear burned when I linked to her pattern, and she came in and was chatting with us too. She seems really rad, so do check that out. And then my friend Aoife, hi Aoife and Dan, has started a thread about a very informal mini skein swap if anyone's interested in that. So it's not going to be like an organized thing or a thing where you have to have them wrapped in this way, or it has to get here on this time. It's just like, hey, you want some? I've got some. Great. My phone just rang and then stopped. So check out that thread. And then, speaking of Aoife, I have never mentioned that she has a really fantastic, someone's calling again. No, not right now, 1888 number. Oh, answered it. And then I hung up. Oh dear. That would be someone selling something, right? 1888 number? Darn it. If it's important, they'll call back, right? Okay, anyways, Aoife has a really awesome blog all about knitting, all about her finished projects, all about things she's working on. She also has a link to her Etsy shop where she sells her knits. So you should definitely check that out. It has the best name. It's called Yarn and Sass. There is another blanket KAL happening for a week from April 24th to 30th. And that's being run by Sally from South Africa of the Wool Diaries podcast. And the hashtag for that is Blanket Madness. I think the rules generally are post a picture of your blanket before the KAL starts and then post a picture of your blanket after, telling her how many squares you added to your blanket. And this one's more of like a competition for whom can get the most squares added to their blanket. So I forgot to check to see if she has a Rav group. I'm sure that she does, where you can go and check out the details of that. So I was on Periscope on Wednesday morning and I had the greatest time. I was a little bit nervous and jittery. I felt pressure. I have done Periscope before. I've only done about 10 broadcasts, but I've never done with one with a focus. I've just always kind of gone on there and been like, oh, hey, I'm looking out my window, or what's everybody up to, and had like mostly random strangers join me. So this was the first time that I knew the majority of people joining me, and suddenly I just felt this pressure to like, okay, be interesting. And that's when I was feeling the least interesting. But I tried to relax, and I think I did towards the end a little bit, and I had fun. And thank you so much to everyone who tuned in and gave me hearts and just joined the conversation. I enjoyed it so much that I'm definitely gonna be doing it on the reg. I'll either be doing it Tuesday or Wednesday mornings, and I'm not completely sure what time I'm going to be doing it. Similar time, last week I did it at 7 a.m. Pacific. So it'll be around the same time. So if you just make sure to follow me on Periscope, I'm Shannonfisher, and turn on your notifications. Regardless of when I do it, you'll get notified, and if you can join at the time, great. If you can't, maybe you'll catch me on the replay or next time I broadcast. But I love to see all of you there. It'll be really fun to start to interact with some of you on a different medium and just hang out, and for you to see me in a different setting when I'm, there's a two-way conversation happening. And I think hopefully over time I will relax into it, and I'll forget the idea that I'm supposed to be something and just be myself. And yeah, but hopefully you can join me at some point. So I've been broadcasting. I've been filming in my bedroom for the last few episodes, and I'm sitting in front of one of our bedroom windows. We have one here, and it's just a regular sized window, and then there's one over there. But I haven't been had to use any lighting since I've been in here behind the camera, because it's just been so bright and beautiful. The funny thing is that So after I'm done recording, I take out the memory card and I just leave the camera set up for Steve to put away because it's his baby. And then I go and I do my editing, and at some point later I come back in the room and there's this camera pointing down at the bed, and our room, all the neighbors could like see into our room. So it looks a little bit suspicious. So it's happened a few times now, and it always makes Steve and I chuckle, thinking the neighbors are probably wondering what we're up to in here. I have had this song in my head all week. So this is my way of shaking it off. Are you ready? You've got to give a little, take a little, let your poor heart break a little. That's the glory of love. Hashtag my knitting spot on Instagram and the thread on Ravelry both have have people interested and have people tagging their stuff and sharing their knitting spots, and it's been so fun to see where everyone knits and see what your setup is like. I've been loving that, so please keep sharing your knitting spot. If you do share your knitting spot, tag your friends and ask them to share their knitting spot. If you need inspiration for your own knitting spot, check out that hashtag. Don't forget to post to and check out the hashtag that Mina has inspired. What is it called? From Where I Knit, because it's like the opposite view, which is super fun. So do check out both of those hashtags. Shouty Shan is back. Just a reminder, if you're brand new, Shouty Shan is about the ways I am learning about being a better human, and a lot of those things have a very strong correlation to social justice issues. So I like to take a couple minutes every week just to talk about things that I'm working hard on learning more about, so that I can go out into the world as a better human. So I hope you'll join me. So this week, I'm going to sort of refer back to the episode, I can't remember what episode, but I'll put it down here, where I think it was my first Shouty Shan segment. And I shared a post by my friend Ali Barthwell on Facebook, and she talked a bit about the responsibility of white people to basically call out racism, so that the people who are tired and oppressed don't have to do that work, so that we're not leaving that work up to them. And I would definitely extend that to any group of privilege. So if you're a man and you hear any kind of sexism spewing from the mouths of people around you, don't leave that work to women. Say something. Do something about it. Call those people out. If you are a straight, cis, heteronormative person and you hear people talking trash about the LGBTQ community, call that stuff out. Step in. Be a good bystander. Do not leave that work to those people because they are tired and it is not their job. So that I spoke about that. I read Ali's really inspiring post that I think about every time I get scared to do the work of calling someone out. And so I just wanted to extend that a little by talking about how to call someone out. And there's a video on YouTube by Jay Smooth, who has amazing videos and has amazing insight and great things to say. And this particular video is called How to Tell Someone They Sounded Racist. So I will link to that video in my show notes. But basically, Jay's advice is to focus on the person's words and their actions, focus on what they did, and stay away from who they are. So what he's saying is, don't tell people that they're racist. Tell people that what they did sounded racist. Focus on what they did. Because then you stay away from people having to tell you who they are, and, you know, they sort of don't have to take accountability for what they did, because they can say, I'm not racist because XYZ proves that I'm a good person. Instead, you can say, what you just said is racist. And so Jay uses the example of, if someone steals my wallet, I'm not going to chase them down and figure out if in their heart of hearts they believe that they're a thief. I'm going to hold them accountable for giving me my wallet back and for what they did and how that harmed me. And he finishes the whole video with this thought: I don't care what you are, I care about what you did. So I thought that was brilliant, and also a good reminder for those of us who have privilege and are nervous and afraid and, unsure of calling people out, because it's intimidating, it's tiring to think about, it feels overwhelming, and it feels like, what difference can I even make? So I try to think of Ali's words and Jay's words when I do that. And then as a follow-up, I'm going to share a video, or actually this is an essay about how to deal with being called out. And so if you are called out, here are some things to think about. Don't tone police. It's not your right to dictate how someone should react to their oppression. Don't demand a detailed explanation. You're basically asking the person to justify their calling out. Don't attack the person who's calling you out. Don't get defensive. Just listen. A call out is not about you as a person. It's not a personal attack. If someone calls you out, they're trying to teach you something. Calling out is a way for people to educate others on how systems of oppression operate on a day-to-day individual level, which is so hard to remember because it can feel so personal. Don't assume the person calling you out is just looking to get offended. Nobody enjoys calling other people out. To call someone out, people often have to mentally prepare for serious repercussions. Calling someone out might mean starting an argument during which many people will side with the oppressor by default. Understand that being oppressive is not the same as being offensive or hurting feelings. The damage you're perpetuating is part of a larger system of oppression. Realize that your intent is irrelevant. People do not experience your intentions, they experience what you actually did. When it comes to whether you're oppressive or not, avoid reactions like, "Oh, I didn't mean to upset you." Recognize the power dynamics that are in place between you and the person calling you out. Meaning, if it's a woman calling a man out for saying something sexist, well, the man is in the position of power, and therefore it is his job to just chill and listen and pay attention to what he can learn from that moment, right? If I'm being called out by someone, a person of color, it is my job to listen, because I am in the position of power as far as society goes. I have the privilege because of my white skin, so it is my job to listen and figure out how I can do better. Know that being privileged means being oppressed. Know that being privileged means being oppressive, but you can work to reduce the ways that you are oppressive. So I talk to Steve all the time about how he's a man, but he's pretty woke. Like he understands privilege, but that doesn't mean he still doesn't benefit from it and still doesn't live with internalized sexism. So he still can be oppressive. And so we have to talk about that a lot. Step 3, work on it. I guess step 2, apologize. Step 3, work on it. So, and then this includes a great video about how to apologize. So I will link to that. So hopefully that's some good stuff for you to think about this week and talk about. And I know it's super scary and hard, but it's really important work, and I want to get better at it. Okay, let's move on to the knitting content. So finished objects. I have no finished objects that are knitted. Knitted. I have no knit finished objects this week. I have realized that having too many projects on the needles is very discouraging for me. I think I have 4 or 5 projects on my needles right now, and all of them are making little to no progress. So I think in the future what I need to do is maybe have a pair of socks on the needles and either a sweater or a shawl, and then that's it. And of course my eternal sock blanket of love, Stella. That's what I call my sock blanket, which I have made no progress on. So the only thing I really made any progress on, which isn't a lot, is Mina's shawl, which I showed you last week. And this is the Budding Bluebells Shawl. And it's a test knit for Mina Philipp of the Knitting Expat podcast. And I have chosen to use this yarn by Smith & You in the colorway Deep Cove, which I which I raved about in last week's episode, so check that out if you haven't seen it. And then and this is a fingering weight yarn. And then for the lace edging, I'm going to be using this Pecan Hull by Mad Tosh, which I really love how they look together. And I'm knitting it on 4.0 millimeter needles, and I borrowed a friend's cable, and I've got it on my Knit Picks, what are these called? Caspians, because they're the sharpest needles I have in this size. And there is a one complicated knit 3 together thing that I required some sharpness, so I've got those going. So I think I'm going to do 17 or 16 repeats, and I think I'm on my 11th. So I've got about 6 repeats to go, 5 or 6 repeats to go, until I start the edging work. So I said I have no finished objects that are knitted objects, but I do have sewing. You guys, I got a sewing machine, all inspired by Emma, because I kind of been thinking maybe I want to start sewing some bags for myself in order for me to fill the desire of having more, and maybe getting some for friends who can't afford them. I thought maybe I could learn to make some myself. So I had been sort of thinking about that when Emma one day just decided she wanted to make a stuffy. And so we went and got some fabric, and we had a sewing machine from my mother-in-law in our garage. It's not creepy at all. So this sewing thing was all started by Emma. So we got the supplies, and we got home, and I went and dug the sewing machine that my mother-in-law had gifted to us out of the garage, dusted it off, plugged it in, tried to wind a bobbin, nothing happened, figured out something, got it working, pressed the foot presser, and so it was definitely dead. So we went and got a new machine. There was a huge sale at the FAF store here in Vancouver, and there was 40% off. So I got us a entry-level Janome. And so on the first day, Emma sewed her little heart out, and she made a Bill Cipher stuffy, which is 90% done. I'll insert a picture here. He's a character from, what is he a character from? Star vs. the Forces of Evil? No, something else. I forget. Emma has so many fun shows that she likes. I can't keep track of them. I also got myself some fabric, and I whipped up 2 project bags. So I made this little mini guy first, and it's full of mistakes, but I love it. It's from a pattern that I can link to in the show notes. I can't think of where I got it from right now. It was a $9 pattern for this bag in basically any size you want. And it was really fun, and it was very easy. And I call this one Drunk Birdies, because people keep asking if they're fish. And I'm like, no, it's just my first project bag, and I could not figure out the direction of the pattern, so it ended up being birds on their side who look like fish. So they will from here be known as drunk birds. So I just did two fabrics with this, just like a nice, it's almost like a tweed fabric or a canvas fabric. I'm gonna have to learn my stuff. And then just a plain cotton. But I love, so yeah, that goes through the inside. So this is gonna be a gift for a pal who I know will appreciate that it's my very first bag and that it's full of mistakes, because that's how I roll. And in the side, I've just got some of Nikki's sachets and one of her fun little multi-fun packs with Korean goodness. So that was the first one. And the second one I made for my friend Lisa, who I gifted to last night at knit night. And then she filled it with all of her stuff. And then I went, I need that back. I have to show it on the podcast. So this one's bigger, quite a bit bigger. It's the next size up, I believe. And that's because Lisa does not make socks. She's more into bigger projects. So I made her a bigger size to hold her stuff. And this has 3 fabrics in it simply because I made a mistake and cut this fabric too short. So I added this on to make up for the length. And then I have a little accent piece, and then it's lined with the same canvasy gray as the other one. And again, it has one of Nikki Slip's sachets in it. So I really love this one a lot. Love how it turned out. So I'll definitely be making more of those. I had so much fun doing this, and if math wasn't so hard for me, it probably would have been twice as fast as it actually was. I think each of these probably took me 3 to 4 hours. So I think once I get the hang of it, the rhythm, and once I've learned math a little bit, it'll go a lot faster for me. So I talked about how I was making these on Periscope, and I said I wasn't gonna sell them or anything, but I think I maybe changed my mind. I don't know, I might open up a little shop. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. So I know the community is really saturated with bag makers, but I just don't think you can have too many of those, because everyone has their own style and they bring their own sense of whimsy to what they make. I mean, it's like saying there's too many authors or too many writers or too many musicians. I think we get something, you find your audience and your audience finds you. But maybe I'm just saying that to make myself feel better about starting my own bag shop. I'm not sure. Let me know if you would buy a bag from a brand new sewist. Or if you're just like, I'm done with the bags. There's enough out there to choose from. Or maybe I just need to decide to do this on my own. And either you buy from me or you don't. I'm not sure. I think even though I'm brand new, I did do a really quality job of these. I really took my time, and I mean, there's mistakes, but for sure, but that'll change over time. I'll get better and better. I'll learn new techniques, and you'll come along with me, maybe? We'll see. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know when, either down below or in the Ravelry episode 14 thread. I'd like to experiment with other bag patterns and zippers, so we'll see. But I've ordered some fabric that's hopefully gonna come and I get to play with it. So yeah, that's how do we make time for all of the things we love to do? I don't know, because this is taking away from my knitting time, but I don't mind because I love it. So that was really fun. So even though I have not made a lot of progress on anything, knitterly, Emma and I, on Sunday, so 2 more sleeps, we are going to take the train to Portland. We're just going to head there. It's a 6-hour train ride, so that's like so much fun knitting time with this beautiful ocean view the whole way there. It's such a beautiful trip on the train. I'm so excited. And then we're going to chill in Portland. We're going to go to KALs. We're going to go to Voodoo Donuts. Someone said there's some other donut place we should check out in Portland, so I have to figure out remember what that was. If you have any other suggestions of what we should do in Portland, we'll get there mid-afternoon on Sunday. We'll have all of Monday, and then we'll have until mid-afternoon on Tuesday, and then we have an 8-hour train ride back here to Vancouver. So more good knitting time, and Emma's going to be doing some drawing. So I think it's going to be so fun. I just really wanted to have some mom-daughter chill time with her. We've had a few blips lately where I have not loved the way we've been interacting, and we've talked it out for sure and made up, and it's just the nature of living together and being humans with different opinions in the same space. But her and Steve are going away shortly for his birthday to Disneyland. I'm going to stay with the pups. And so I said to him, I would really love to get away with her. So this is just a fun, quick trip. So I'm hoping we can make some good memories and just do some fun bonding and chill together. But also with some added extra bonus knitting time and drawing time for her. So time for us to be creative together in the same space. So yay, that should be great. And hopefully on that trip I will finish Mina's shawl and maybe get a couple squares on my blanket, maybe a little more. We'll see. We'll see what I can get done in 6 hours there and 8 hours back. And then maybe a little knitting time in front of the TV watching home improvement shows in the hotel. So that's my plan. My friend Lisa, who this bag is for, she's the one who founded our knit night. She called me out for not talking about my acquisitions in the last 3 episodes. And partly that's because I was trying to decide how I feel about showing my acquisitions. I think it's totally fine for people to show their acquisitions. And I love it. I love that part of seeing what they got and what's going on. But I just don't know. I just couldn't figure out how it was feeling for me to be like, and then I bought this, and then I bought that, and then I bought this. So that's probably more speaking to my purchasing habits than it is showing my acquisitions on the podcast. But anyways, I was sort of like wrestling through how I felt about that. And so I just like put acquisitions on the back burner. But I will show you a couple things I have acquired in the last 4 weeks. So Sweet Georgia, which is, they have their warehouse here in Vancouver. And I think I showed some of their stuff that I got from their seconds. The seconds part of the warehouse. They have like 2 equally sized rooms, and the whole second room is all for seconds. And that's just for their yarn that's not quite up to their standard, and so they sell it at a discounted price. But they had a big blowout spring cleaning sale where things were marked down quite significantly. And so my friend Joanna, hi Joanna, and I went and we indulged. And I got excuse me, I got a sweater's worth of this yarn. So I think I got 5 skeins because I already had one. In Superwash DK, this is Orchid, and it's 100% superwash, 115 grams. So I'm going to make a sweater out of this. And I think the sweater I'm going to make is called, I'll maybe share that in my show notes, or maybe I'll leave it as a surprise. Can't remember what. Anyways, it's a sweater. It's this really great, just plain raglan sweater, but it has parts where, so it's just straight stockinette stitch, but with a, I can't remember if it's polka dots on it, and the polka dots are just knit in reverse stockinette. So that you'll purl where the polka dots are instead of knit. It's really, really cute. So I thought this would be great for that. So that's Orchid. And then I got the yarn I'm using for my Fine and Dandy socks, which I've made, I don't know, I think I've got 2 more rows or 2 more repeats of the flower on my Fine and Dandy socks. I don't know if I'm ever going to finish those. They're really slow going for me. So I got, that's when we went to Sweet Georgia, I got that sock yarn. But then I also grabbed this sock yarn, and it is called Smitten. And it's in their Tough Love sock base, which is 80% superwash and 20% nylon. So it's got some like rust and purples and pink, and then just some creamy white. So I have no plans for this, but probably some socks. And then I just got a plain black because Steve has been asking me to knit him a toque for years. And this, with the discount, was cheaper than a skein of black acrylic I could get. So I thought, I'll get him some superwash merino. So I'm going to make him a toque. And then at the doorway, they had a big bin of, do you know their, what's it called? They have a bag. So Sweet Georgia has a bag of, Party of 5, those Party of 5 bags. So it's 5 skeins of, I think, 25 grams of sock yarn. So they had a big bin of bags that had 3 25 grams that you could pick from if you just brought a food donation or donated some money. So I pulled $5 out of my wallet because I didn't know about the food thing. So they were giving to the food bank, and I picked this. So it's just a fun yellow and this purple, which is in a looks like it's stellina, and then this deeper purple. And then on the way out, I was like, those Party of 5 things are like, what are they, $40, $35? And I just got 3 of them, like a partial Party of 5 for $5. I should really probably grab another one. So I did. So this is in like an oatmeal color and a green and a really great. It's not quite. Oh, maybe it is the same as orchid. Yeah, same. So I got those. So there's gonna make fun, contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs, or something else. And then I went with my friend Lisa just across the border for the day a couple weekends ago because she had some mail to send, and our mail is Canada Post is expensive, so it was really cheap for her to send it across, drive across the border, which is literally like a 25-minute drive, and then send it from there. So we hit up a couple yarn shops, and one of them was Northwest Handspun Yarns. And I follow Spin Cycle Yarns on Instagram, so I see their fun stuff, but I've never knit with it. So I got this fun, is it called marled, when it's like 2 colors, marled? And it's just, I think it's just 75 grams. Where did I see that? $200 yards. I thought I saw it said somewhere 75 grams. Anyways, it's not a full skein, but it's enough for me to make some shorty socks, which I'm super into these days. And I love the colors. It's got like this really fun, vibrant green and purples and some cream and some navy. So these are going to make fun socks. Yeah. So those are some things that I've acquired in the last 4 weeks. Yay for yarn! So that just leaves Pod Love, a couple questions to answer, and some reminders. So Pod Love this week, I have one podcast to recommend, and it's brand new. She only has recorded 2 episodes, and her name is Joanne, and she has a podcast called Creative Mojo on YouTube. And I really enjoy watching her because she's a pretty experienced, adventurous knitter. She has knit a lot of sweaters. She works on toques. She's making one of Stephen West's huge shawls right now, the kind that where you like knit a section and then you pick up stitches and you knit another section, and it's turning out gorgeous. She's working on a beautiful cardigan in this amazing red colorway right now that she's going to add some black stripes to. And she's just really thoughtful. I love the way she shares a little bit about herself at the end. She's also a spinner. She also sews. She's from Calgary, so I really enjoy watching her. And we actually got to have a FaceTime conversation because she chatted about something in her last episode that I've been thinking about for a while, and actually had just had a conversation with a couple friends about. So I got in touch with her and I was like, let's chat about this. This would be wonderful to chat about. So we did that, and it was really fun, and I really hope to meet her in person one day. So if you get a chance to watch a new podcast this week, choose Creative Mojo because you will love it. Hi, Joanne. So many of you answered my call to ask more questions in Ask Me Anything thread because I was running out of things to say in my Shan Things section. So my Shan Things section will either be things that I think you'll find interesting about me or things that you've asked about me. So this week I have questions to answer, so I'll combine that with Shan Things. If I don't answer your question this week, I will either answer it in a future show or I will answer it on that thread. So I have 2 questions. One from Miss Brenners, who is Brenda. Hi, Brenda. She asked what my favorite toy was growing up. This is a 2-parter. She asked what my favorite toy was growing up and what my favorite book of all time is. I'm not too sure about my favorite toy growing up. I don't have a great memory when it comes to that stuff, but two toys that stuck out in my memory the most were Mr. Potato Head and my 2 Cabbage Patch dolls. I took those girls everywhere. I had like a normal Cabbage Patch doll, and then I had a preemie, I think. And they came like when we went out for dinner, I brought them. I slept with them. I took them over to Grandma's house. They came everywhere with me. I think one was named Stephanie, and I can't remember the name of the other one. My mom still has them. So those are the 2, and those were toys of the 80s. I think Mr. Potato Head's still around. Well, so are Cabbage Patch dolls, right? So my favorite book, I never have to think about this when people ask me. My favorite book of all time is called A Complicated Kindness, and it's by author Miriam Toews. And that book I read when I was close to leaving religion, and it's about a father and daughter who are... It's a story of a father and daughter who are Mennonite, and it really resonated with me. And Miriam Toews is a very tragic writer. Her stuff just like guts you. But I love her. I love what she does with words, and I love how deep her stories go and how much they make me feel. So that is my all-time favorite book that I think I've read 3 times. And I don't read books more than once. That book and my friend Jessica's book called Meet You There are the only books I've read more than once in my whole life. And I read a lot. I read 49 books last year. So I love reading, but I only want to read a book once. So these are exceptions for sure. So thanks for asking that, Brenda. And then Susie1 on Rav asked if... Hi, Susie. She asked if I have siblings. She also asked about my faith journey, so maybe I'll answer that in a future episode. But no, I do not have siblings. I'm an only child, which made me want to have more than one kid. When Steve and I got married, I said we will either have 0 children or we will have 4. And he was like, well, 2's a responsible number. And I was like, who says that? What's a responsible number of children? And then we just had 1. So, oops. But for me, the reason I wanted more than 1 kid or no kids is because I grew up in a dysfunctional family, and I didn't really have siblings to be like, this is shitty, right? Like, it's not just me. I'm not just like, this is shitty. I just felt like it was me all the time. And even now, you know, the memories of that stuff, it would just be nice to sort of commiserate with someone. But hopefully Emma's, you know, we're more of a functional family, and we definitely have our dysfunctions. We're not a perfect family, but I think she feels pretty safe and loved and listened to. So I know she would, given the choice, she would choose to have a sibling, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, no, I'm an only child. Thanks for asking, Susie. That just leaves reminders. So join the Rav group where you can ask me a question. I'll need more questions for the future. Tell us how you use Ravelry. There's a thread going on in there about how people use Ravelry that's fascinating. There's the thread with my writing in it, where you can find some of my essays. There's people talking about their knitting spot, so don't forget to share your knitting spot. Subscribe and like to this video down below. Join the Blanket Blitz KAL. Tag your stuff on Instagram, your minis and your blanket progress. Show us where you're at now. That goes from now until May 31st. I will draw prizes from the chatter group and Instagram. Join the Silly Sing Gang on Instagram. That's been quiet lately. If you're a maker and donating to this podcast would bring you joy, then please be in touch with me. Follow me on Periscope. I'm at shannonfisher on Periscope. Turn on your notifications and look for me either early Tuesday or Wednesday mornings. I'm not totally sure yet, and it might switch. And that's it. That's all. Thanks for joining me this week, you guys. I really love spending time with you. It's been fun, and I love that the group is growing and my subscribers are growing, and I'm thankful that you tune in every week. So I hope you have a fabulous week, and I will see you next week, hopefully with some footage from Portland. Big love and squishy hugs.
Okay, you are not a bear.